STC. We rest for a while last night for our midweek service, and now we're back on track about BSTC, or the Basic Stuff Training course. I'll be presenting to you BSTC topic about um, camping and outdoor education part one. Now, if you will ask me why there is part one, it is because there is part two, because I'm sure we cannot cover everything, especially so that it's already 2026. And then our manual was published in the year 2004. So we are also giving you some kind of update depending on the jurisdiction. Okay. So let me share now my screen so that we can start. Let me see. Okay, camping and outdoor education. All right. Um,
Remember to record the meeting.
so
Yes,
we
we
have
are
two big
recording.
words here: camping and also outdoor education. It's really a mess. I cannot imagine pathfinding, MITs, and the life of every leader, just like all of us who are present in attendance today. I cannot imagine pathfinding without outdoor activities. It is because we consider this as the heart of our ministry, one way to encourage or one way to entice our young people. You know, the adrenaline rush of our young people. We cannot contain them in just the four corners of every classroom or every church. So we have no choice but to really, bring them outside. Plus, of course, as a Seventh-day Adventist, is part of our health ministry, that we are addressing the holistic approach to every human being, and that is part of the physical and the mental consideration, plus also the social and spiritual. That is why it's really important for us leaders to know some orientation regarding this very wonderful topic. Okay, so camping and outdoor education. So, what is our objective for tonight's meeting? We are here to develop awareness, okay? Awareness of basic camping and outdoor skills necessary for outdoor leadership. Remember that we are leading innocent lives. We are leading um, inexperienced kids or teens in emergency situation. At least we have working knowledge how to address. Okay, so to develop an awareness of the basic camping and outdoor education necessary for outdoor leadership, so that in every situation at least we can react. We have a stack knowledge, we have working knowledge how to address. Okay, now when we speak of the camping and of course outdoor education, I want us to remember these five areas. Okay, tonight we will know the philosophy behind camping. Why do we need to camping? Why is there a need for going out into the open to the nature? Okay, so what's the philosophy behind it? And second, upon addressing and knowing the philosophy behind it, is actually the basic camp planning. If you are asked, or one of these days you will be appointed, or you will be assigned as the camp director. How would you plan? How would you design, okay, a camping? Remember, camping varies from one uh, in one way or another. Okay, we have small camping only involving your immediate club. We have camping now involving other clubs in your district or your in your area, or we have a big camping just like mission wide, conference wide, division wide, or even a company for that matter, where we are inviting outside of our area of jurisdiction. I mean, different countries. Okay, so at least we have the basic knowledge on how to plan a respective camp. And then, of course, types of camping. There are there are kinds or types of camping. Okay, we have survival camping, we have friendship camp, we have evangelism camp, we have camp necessary to comply our requirements. There's a lot. So depending on the type and the goal that we want to achieve. So after identifying the types of camping, then the basic components of good camping. How do we know that our camp or the camping that we have just organized, okay, uh, did have the basic the basic components? How do we know that you indeed have a good experience or a good camping? And then, of course, number five is how to lead and manage our people when we speak of nature activities, nature study. Because when we talk about nature study, it varies from one activity to the other. I remember when I was still in high school, we have this honor for constellation, okay, or star study. Now, remember, when you engage yourself in star study, you cannot see and witness all the stars in one given time. Some stars will appear like early night, and take for example 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening. There are also stars that can only be seen like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. So what our teachers um, do during our time in the academy is to divide, okay, to divide the mission. What are the constellation or the stars that we are going to study and witness? So if stars can only be seen during the early, okay, the early hours of the morning, then they will require us to sleep outside. We call this bivouac, okay, bivouac. And during our time, sleeping bag was very expensive, and so we've learned to improvise. We purchased a big plastic, and then inside we have our blanket, and then we have to wait, and then our teacher, our director will wake us up, and then, okay, wake up everybody. So we slept out in the open just to look for this particular star, okay, 3 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, so we usually have that like Saturday night, so the following day there's no class, so students can rest, okay. And we have nature study that can be done during the day: flowers and stones, rocks and insects, and then the different fungi or the mushrooms, okay. So nature study. What else? What are the benefits of camping activities? Developing lifetime hobbies and sometimes a vocation. Yes, take for example, in my case, because of my early exposure to and the introduction to the field and ministry of pathfinding, I fell in love with this ministry, especially when I saw our master guides during the time. Uh, Church school teachers and pastors wearing their uniform. And during the time, I can still remember the uniform of the master guides was all khaki. Remember that? It's khaki up, and also the pants is also khaki. That was also my first uniform when I was in grade 5 and also in grade 6. But in first year, the change is to khaki and then long sleeve khaki, and then pants was like forest green. Now we have the battle green. Okay, so yeah, who knows? It can develop hobbies and eventually vocation, or it's a calling. You know? Leadership is actually a calling also. Number two, benefit encourages improvement of personal performance because you're engaging actively, personally. You are having fellowship and interaction with your fellow campers, your instructors, your teachers. Number three, having fun and excitement of new experience or experiences. Remember this: every camping is unique of its own. There is no camping, even campery, that is symmetrically the same. Remember that. So every camping is bringing to you a new experience, even if you have been joining and attending so many camping in your lifetime, even if you are the one organizing it. Okay. So every camping is unique of its own. So if you have the chance or the opportunity, be excited, join and collect, of course, memories and embrace new experience. Okay. Number four, benefit developing a wholesome curiosity and desire to investigate and learn, especially among our young people. From adventure classes to pathfinders, we are bringing them a wholesome curiosity, and of course the desire. Okay, the desire. And then number five, learning how to properly balance work, play, rest, alternative periods of vigorous activity. That is correct. And and well, sometimes we've experienced a totally different experience. There are, of course, limitations that we cannot employ and we cannot introduce in our generation today. I remember when I was in high school. Okay, there was really an integration of discipline. Take, for example, for 30, the first whistle you will hear the first whistle, and then by the time the third call or whistle is made, you already are in the venue for worship. That's 5 o'clock, and then 5 to 5:30. So, meaning every hour, every minute counts, every so that when your camp director will give you window for you to rest, you will learn to appreciate the window, even if that time is only 35 to 45 minutes. Okay, you will not waste that, because all the time in entire day you have activity to perform. You cannot nowadays, of course, we can relax and just we can even choose. If we don't want to participate, we don't participate. Okay, but there were times in our days when when there is time for you to be out in your tent, and there is time for you to enter or to be in your tent. So so right after the camping, you will bring that discipline to your dormitory, and say, I remember my camping. Every time is so precious. Okay, So that is one of the benefits of camping. It will teach you, really, it will teach you how to balance everything. Six, meaning time management, and of course, participation. Six, learning the wise use of leisure time, choosing activities that recreate rather than kill time. Okay, this is what I, wait a minute a while ago. And every second, every minute counts. You will learn to appreciate. So by the time camping is finished, when you go to your normal activity, you will remember your training and the discipline that you've learned during the camping days. Seven, learning to enjoy simple pastimes that don't cost a lot, or a lot of money, or yes, a lot of money. Okay, because the nature is there. You will appreciate the beauty of the nature, and you cannot compare uh, with the malls and the other, sophisticated venue, with with entrance. Okay, with entrance. Eight, developing appreciation for serious and thoughtful programs by participating in Vespers, observing Sabbath, and enjoying campfire programs based on thought provoking themes and rituals. Every time we hear the whistle to be out of the tent, there are there are things that we should not forget. One of which is Bible, ball pen, and notebook. And then, of course, the ID. And then every devotional, we are asked to take down notes. And then before we will retire for the evening, we are asked to reflect on that and then write with one or two paragraph of our reflection. You see? So there's a lot of things that can be learned. And then camping benefits to the individual. Okay, intimate knowledge, lasting love for nature, brings back memories. So so you know, the early exposure, the better. So if you have your your children or young children today, expose them, because they will really value, especially nowadays. Our competition is technology. Our competition is gadgets. Okay, so if there is an opportunity, especially in our place, unlike in our home country, in the Philippines, it's a tropical country. In Africa, it's also a tropical country where you also have a lot of trees. But here, it is expensive to to engage ourselves in, because we are renting bus or many bus, and so if there's an opportunity to expose our children back to the outdoor, the better. Mrs. White is telling us that the beauty of nature is considered to be the illustrative word. The Bible is the written word. Jesus Christ is the living word. The nature, okay, then the nature is the illustration, okay, the illustrative word. Number two, understanding how nature keeps things in balance and interdependent. Why? Because you will observe it, you will see it with your own eyes, and you can draw, you can elicit good information and experience out of that. Number three is spiritual awakening that reveal God's presence and touch in everything. Say, for example, Sabbath afternoon, you have the nature walk, and you are asked, the first group, you are asked to collect stones. The second group will be asked to at least take picture of different insects, or different flowers, and then color coded flowers, and you see, and then after that you will gather around and come up with reflection, and you will realize the beauty. The earth is surrounded with, you know, with God's creation. And then you will say, oh Lord, thank you so much. Truly, we have felt your holy presence because we are here in your creation. Huh? Number four, understanding the true meaning of conserving natural resources. Yes. Huh? Number five, finding new self respect and self confidence in managing oneself. This is also a benefit to the individual. What else? Number six, taking pride in one's ability to improvise and make do with what is available. Um, well, because we are here in a very restricted country, and we don't have some kind of materials that are growing native in our home country. For example, bamboo and coconut and some trees. If there is an opportunity for you to lead your a camping, okay, even a wicked camping of your church, okay, um, you can also ask them to build their own improvised shelter, and then improvise bench or improvise table. Huh? Oh, that's good. So usually we do that if we have survival camp. And I mentioned to our Pathfinder director, Brother Moses, and said, hopefully this year we will have a survival camp for MITs or for master guides. Survival camp where we don't have the luxury of to bring everything. Maybe we will only bring bolo and also clothes. Okay, and it's up to us if we survive, and we will purge and look for one way to challenge ourselves. So we are planning for that, huh? That's number six, actually. Taking pride in one's ability to improvise and make do with what is materials available in your area. Number seven, a feeling of at homeness in an outdoors as one learns to use natural materials. Generation today, we are very lucky. Why? Because camping materials are now affordable. We have portable, okay, portable stove, portable this one, portable this one, portable this one. The drawback of that is, of course, it diminished our resourcefulness and being industrious and endurance and patience, and to look for, you know, uh, for us to survive. Okay. So that's why it's really a must for us. Starting from friend, we have to teach our kids, our children, how to build a fire, how to build a fire as much as possible without the aid of lighter or match, or it should it's supposed to be, from. And during the campori we did that, we did that, and I'm very happy because I was the one who handled that. I gave them five challenge. um, we have fire building from bow and drill, and the rubbing method, and then I think five, and then the fifth one was through magnifying glass. So out of five, we have how many groups were there? One, two, I think five or six groups. Okay, all of them got it, but it took them like almost 2 hours to produce fire using a magnifying glass. When I say build a fire, it's really a fire. Okay, so It was a challenge, and everybody was very happy because the experience really how to survive in the open. Okay, and then what else? Pride in good health um, and physical fitness that vigorous outdoor life brings. What else? Other benefit, finding a new and more realistic sense of values. It's good. Yes, you will realize of somehow you are connected with your fellow camper. You are connected with your creator. You are connected with people surrounding you, and then you will realize you know how to respect. You gain respect, and you will also value things, okay, even the small ones. 11, a feeling of community, pride, and the satisfaction that comes from serving, okay, serving others. Okay, let's go now to components. What are the basic components of a good camping? What are the basic components? Remember this, huh? Okay, now if you are asked to conduct an ocular inspection, not just here, of course, here, because here we have a very established camping ground. In fact, it's not only established, it is also expensive. Why? Because we all have the amenities, the facilities. Okay, we can use this. What if in our home country we are asked to look for a place, and the place is very remote, and the place is very raw? Okay, now what are the components of, you know, so these are the working knowledge. Number one, a good campsite must offer these basic amenities. Okay, we have two types. We have the established one, and then we have the raw. Now, in the established one, of course, you have to look for water or water sports. Okay, take for example, lake or river, or because remember our manual is patterned after North American division. But what if we will establish a camp belonging to the third world country, just like the Philippines? Okay. Of course, we don't have the money, and we don't have the luxury to look for venue with all of these amenities. But at least we have the basic components how to look for it. Okay. So if you have budget, if you have money, you can look for amenities available within the vicinity. For example, if you can have one secured, affordable place that can cater your need for water sports, and then hiking trail and everything. That is good, of course. The letter B, please take note, this is very important, water, because water is life. So water supply must be available, must be plentiful, that it will serve, of course, the number of your campers, and at the same time, uninterrupted. Meaning, every time you need it, okay, you have it, okay, you have a water. C, firewood is available. Now, I put here portable stove. It is because, we have to be very realistic. There are camping grounds or campsites where firewood or building fire is not allowed. So you are asked to bring with you your available, okay, portable stove. Okay, so at least firewood is available if the management or the owner of the camping ground, if it is private, the owner of the land allows you to have firewood to bring. Okay, and bonfire. Letter D, of course, sanitation. In fact, the key here is let 3S. Anyway, uh, one S, of course, is security and sanitation, and I forget the other S. Anyway, we will discuss that later on. So sanitation, is adequate, and you will see to it or make it sure number of toilets. And then we have toilet for the ladies, and you have also toilet that will cater the need of the males or the gentlemen. And then what about shelters? Shelters strong enough to withstand a heavy rain or storm. Remember the the Camry in the U.S. Lasts 2024. Okay, uh, I think it was interrupted twice, but the second interruption uh, really caused the organizer to close the Campuri uh, earlier than the regular schedule. Why? Because of the strong wind, because of the you know, because of the coming uh, strong wind, and of course we have strong and heavy rain. Okay, just like what we are experiencing right now. Remember that we have so many types of tents or shelter, and that is our coverage for outdoor education part two. I want us to also orient or educate our young people with the basic disposition and availability of the tent, because I have it's good that United Arab Emirates is not really we are not actually experiencing rain. Okay, we are not experiencing rain on a regular basis. What if ours is a tropical where rain comes regularly? What kind of tent? Okay, because I can imagine if during our camping we experience rain. Oh, anyway, we are happy, and we are grateful because every time we have a camping, we only experience wind. I think last time we experienced a strong wind. At least the recently concluded Campuri, we did not experience any. So we are happy of that. Except of course, that separate incident that damage our public display of our respective booth. Okay. Letter F. Fire building and outpost cooking is permitted on the campgrounds. So you have to ask that to the the owner or the organizer, okay, of the venue. Okay, let's go to camp planning. To camp planning. What happened to the screen? Why is there a a big check? Camp planning. Number one, go for a reason. What type of camping we are going to design? Are we designing? Is this a friendly camping, a friendship camping, a skills demonstration camping, evaluative camping, or what kind of camping is this? Is this a survival camping? So that is your goal, and that can be considered also a good reason for you to go. Number two, arrange transportation to the campsites and back. Of course, transportation is very important. Number three, ensure there is enough tents to accommodate campers. That's why tent is a group equipment. But if your campers, they own or they have their own tent, it can be an individual, but usually tent is a group equipment. Now remember, every time you prepare for these equipments, you are dividing it into three, because we have individual things to bring for individual, things to bring for groupings, and we have things to bring for the entire club. For example, you have a big burner stove. It can be a group or the entire club. But for sleeping bag, it is individual. For the Bible, it is individual. For tent, it can be a group. Okay. So that's the way to do it. And number four, bring along general gear, meaning we have equipment that can be used by the entire group, axe, hammer, saw, and everything. Okay. And then, of course, we have first aid because we also have equipment to be brought by the organizers. Okay, take for example, stretcher for emergency cases, and first aid kit, or some materials for the activities. And then number six, ensure adequate camp personnel to staff the camp. How many working force do you need? Okay, what is the size of your camp? How many clubs are participating? How many staff do you need? Okay, you have to answer its adequacy and the right proportionate, and yeah, the ratio. Okay, you have to address the ratio. For example, one staff for 10 campers or one staff per 15 campers. Okay. Seven, bring enough food which is well balanced, and of course nutrition. So yeah, this with the latest Campuri, of course, we employ as much as possible a majority of our food. Okay, we're vegetarian. Plan meetings around a theme. What's the theme? That's part of your goal. That's part of the reason why you go for camping. Nine, inspect campsite for safety, feasibility, and prior to the camp out. And if I may add to this, remember the one I told you during the first session, the history and the philosophy of the purpose. If you are new to the place, if you are not, even if the owner of the land is aware of your presence, please do not forget to conduct a courtesy call to the barangay council, to the village, or to the municipality, or to the city council, and also to the police or to the military. Okay, you need to inform them of your presence so that in case of emergency, especially if your activities, the activities, we have hiking, and we have treasure hunting, or track and trail, or navigation. That's why the basic principle of leave no trace, of which that is our topic next. And then what's the other one? Leave no trace, and the basic mountaineering course. It is discouraged for our camper to wear military paraphernalia, even the semblance of a color. Okay, because that is to avoid, no, we are actually encouraged to wear something colorful, like neon orange, neon green, colorful, because at least it has two reasons. Number one is so that the people in the community, especially if you are not from that area, they will notice. Okay, they will know of your presence. And second, if one is lost, you can easily be recovered by the use of helicopter, or by the use of drone, because nowadays we have the drone. And because if you are wearing military attire, just like the military uniform, because you can just buy in the Temo and Shopee and Amazon. You can just buy. You cannot do that. Why? Because you might be mistaken identity, especially in you know what I mean. So do not also forget that. That's why conducting and giving courtesy to the authorities, okay, authorities is very important. Aside from, you have to secure permission from the landowner. 11, ensure hygiene is not a problem in the camp, as diseases are easily spread in a camp meeting. Yes, because you you are sleeping in one tent, like 10 people or 5 to 6 people sleeping in one tent. Number 12, ensure safety is a priority in the camp, especially if potential hazards are present, such as lake or such as cliff. Okay. So please take note, actually, under the law, we call this one attractive nuisance. These are nuisance per se, but it becomes attractive because remember the curiosity of our young people. Now, if we are not keen to this, so we might be putting, the lives and the limbs of our campers in danger. So we have to be very cautious with this. And then, of course, notification and waiver. Notify parents and pathfinders ahead of time of the intended con. Consult the leadership, church leadership, school leadership, and if you're organizing in your hometown or community, please include the local authorities. Okay, and then let's go to the power of nature. Why do we go for a camping? Because nature is powerful. Mother Earth, we cannot compete with the Mother Earth. And I know you know that, okay? Being in the great outdoors, to be right at the doorsteps of nature can be a very enriching experience for all of us, not just for pathfinders, for all of us. That's why the ocean or the sea, we call it vitamin C. Have you noticed, even in the Bible, in the gospel, you know, Jesus Christ liked to withdraw from the public to the nature. And because the nature is therapeutic, it gives healing. What else? There, in the stillness of the night, away from the hassle and the bustle of the city, a pathfinder is given an opportunity to hear God's voice speaking to his heart, especially before you go to sleep. Then everything, okay, everything is now um, it's very quiet. It's quiet. You will hear the evening cricket. I like that, the evening cricket. And then it's there that you will realize, realize the beauty and the nature as one of the best gifts that God gave to the human being. What else? Nature offers the pathfinder a sense of peace and tranquility, which may be the antidote of his restlessness brought about by the stress of everyday life, especially nowadays, especially nowadays where sometimes we feel like paranoia when we receive this national alarm through our cell phone. And yeah, so we need to relax, when this conflict or war is over. We have to go out and breathe the fresh air of freedom and protection from God. It is therefore important to use the camping experience to help address some of the problems that the pathfinders may have and help him come to the realization of God and his power to save. Yes, you know what? I've experienced this many, many times. Do not underestimate morning and evening devotional and the role of our camp counselor and mentor. There are times when our students and our pathfinders would like to privately open in the comfort of their privacy in this situation, okay, because the environment encourages them to do so. And yeah, in my case, as a camp director, many times I've experienced this, even among your peers, your fellow master guides, okay. Purpose. We now come to the purposes of camping. Okay, to draw closer to God, our Creator. God is a big God, a powerful God. We have a Creator God. So by the time we withdraw and go to the outdoor, we feel closer. Okay, we feel the embrace of God in the sanctuary, in the solitary place. Oh, I like the feeling to instill a love of nature and environmental consciousness. So the early the earlier we expose our kids, our children and pathfinders to love the nature, they will also value and embrace it and make it their philosophy to love the nature back also, and they become conscious of that. What else? Purposes to develop at homeness in the outdoors and spirit of self-reliance. Yes. What else? To teach ability to cope with the elements of nature because you will be challenged. Because the moment you join camping, you don't have the luxury of time. Your mattress is not as soft as your mattress that you bought from IKEA, and your blanket is not as soft as you only have what you bring. Okay, so it will teach you humility, contentment, and you will also see, oh, life is very basic, life is simple. Okay, to develop physical stamina and, of course, strong body. Yes, why? Because you will be exposed under the heat of the sun, and you have outdoor activities, and sometimes food may not be the same like the food that you usually eat on your table back home. Okay, and it will develop somehow. um because we belong to a third world country. Every time we have camping, during our time, elementary and high school, I can always memorize our food. Uh, Sardines, what else? Noodles, okay, and what's the other one? Why? Because um, if you bring vegetables, and it's very heavy, because usually our venue, it will take you like 2, 3, and even 4 hours away from the city. So when we have our group meeting, we said, okay, what food are we bringing? Are we going to bring squash or cucumber? And that's very heavy. This is settle for for Indomie. But of course, it's not good. That sometimes, so it reminded me to mine physical stamina, strong body, nutrients. All right, but if you have the chance and the opportunity to bring, of course, a well balanced food, nutritious food, of course, as much as possible, you have to. And that is why, during our college days, one of a mountaineer, okay, taught us about how to dehydrate food, usually vegetable, to dehydrate. And then, especially now that we call that, I forgot, where you can, after dehydration, you will vacuum and seal, and it's very light. Okay, it's very light. Okay, nowadays it's no longer a problem because we have a lot of food for light packing. Remember those who are climbing Mount Everest, they are eating healthy food, but it's usually it's dehydrated, and then you just boil. you know it's there's a lot of that nowadays in the market. What else? To satisfy the spirit of adventure. Yes, that's why we call the first phase of our ministry adventure. because we cannot avoid that. That is part of our genes. It runs in the blood, our keen curiosity and adventurism. To teach skills in observation, tracking. Wow, I like this one. Orienteering, survival, and related activities or subjects. Okay. How I wish we could have this orienteering and also survival, even maybe 3 or 4 days. Okay. And then what else? Purposes to provide an activity in which both leaders and pathfinders can enjoy a pleasant fellowship. Oh, I will mention to you before we break the camp and declare the closing ceremony, and then we have the flag retreat, because our time we usually have two, flag raising during the opening ceremony and one for the closing ceremony. So the Pathfinder Club will be sailing up there in the entire duration of the camping. So it's really a big deal for us. It's solemn and it's really a big deal. In fact, when you close the camp, you will see Pathfinder crying because some of them don't want to end the camping because they will miss their friends, and especially if it is a conference, And usually, what we do is before we break, after we break the camp, so we break the camp first, and then ready our things, and then during the closing or before the closing ceremony or the flag retreat, we have bodol fight. We have bodol fight. And I always enjoy the bodol fight, okay? Because we have the master guides, we have MITs, and we have the pathfinders, okay, joining and participating this bodol fight. You know bodol fight, right? Uh, you have to you have to eat in each other's, side by side with the food that you can contribute. And well, in our place, just like in your home country also, we have plenty of banana leaves. Okay, so we place it banana leaves and then rice and then different kinds of food. it's like uh, it's like halo halo. And then when we hear the first whistle, oh, you have to prepare. And then second, okay, everybody, purify. Oh, it's kind of fellowship, between pathfinders and, of course, the leaders. Okay, to provide an activity in which both leaders and pathfinders can enjoy in the pleasant fellowship. What about spiritual values of camp life? Huh? Okay, the experience of harmony and order. You will really appreciate how God designed and created this vast universe because you will experience it firsthand. The sense of closeness to God and nature, okay? Especially if you conduct your Sabbath services under the tree, okay? Under the tree. Because if you do that, the sense of closeness to God and the nature, you will also realize, okay? Uh, give me a minute. Okay, we'll continue because we'll just continue. The sense of closeness to God. What else? The wonder of God's great creativeness. Oh, I like this one. The design. Okay, the design. The wonder of God's great creativeness and the power of adaptability. Oh, because we will be teaching our teens and the kids how to adapt the reality of life, the joy of cooperative fellowship. Wow. Huh? So these are values that we can teach, that we can incorporate every time uh, we have camping. The healing touch of tranquility. Ah, silence is golden. And then, camping can be a wow event. It is a very nice experience to all of us, meaning we say, wow, can never be forgotten. It's a wow factor. Huh? So, yes, we will never forget every camping experience. It is an event in which Pathfinder will never forget, as it is one where he has been especially touched or felt very close to God. What else? With careful planning, with the activities and the programs of the camp, can lead up to this climax, making the camp a most memorable experience for the Pathfinders. And with special effects, oh, see, special effects brought about by the campfire, the sounds of the nature, the coupled with the power of spiritual message, inspiring testimonies, all into one, friends. Oh, this makes a camping experience unforgettable. Then what else? A wow event. No, 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 no. Yes, careful planning, the activities of the program. Oh, okay, we've done with that. The great tradition of camping. If you're reading the Bible in the Old Testament, the book of Exodus is actually about camping. In fact, sanctuary is also mobile. It's movable from one place to another. That was the task of the Levites. And then we have 12 tribes divided into four: to the north, to the south, to the west, and to the east. Okay? They have been in the wilderness. So camping, okay? Camping. They also have, and according to my professor, they have also their flag. And so if they have flag, they have Gidon bearer. The flag of Judah and I forgot the other two tribes together with Judah. Their flag is, lion. That's why Jesus Christ is known as the lion from the tribe of Judah, because that is their flag. Okay. So camping did have a old great tradition. Look at this. I think this picture was taken in 60s. I don't know, 60s, because the car is 60s. I don't know, 50s. Huh? So camping is an activity that has been passed on from one generation to another. Take for example, in my case, uh-huh, I'm I'm already close to 50 years old, and my first engagement, of course, I in very young, grade grade five. So grade five is 9 years old, or 10. Okay, so early exposure, and until now, I still love camping. In fact, I have so many equipment, but I cannot use it because the situation here is different. I purchased tents. I have different kinds of portable stove. Uh, there's a lot, but I cannot use it. I can only use it every time we go back to Philippines for vacation. Huh? And I'm also exposing my children for camping now. So that they will value, experience, and establish good memories with them. Many people who first come as children now come as parents or as grandparents. Yes, this is very much true. Whether loved ones passing on an appreciation for the great outdoors. That's why I really appreciate my fellow master guide. If you are a master guide parent today, and your children are now master guides, so meaning you already produced a second generation master guide. Well, praise the Lord. And God is happy for that. Meaning pathfinding as a ministry. Indeed, indeed has an impact to your life, because we are um, handing this, and we let the new generation inherit also our experience. Camping is vital part of the Pathfinder Club program, because being at the doorsteps of the nature is a very enriching experience for Pathfinders. Yes, that's true. Huh? Well, we have an American essayist, poet, and also a philosopher. His name is Henry David Thoreau Walden. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, to discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life, living so dear, nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close to drive life into a corner and reduce it to lowest terms. All right? A very depth philosophy. That's why, we do not underestimate the power of nature, because it teaches us a lot of lessons that the modern education nowadays do not teach, especially the reality, the basicality of life. The main reasons to bring pathfinders to camping: explore the nature. That's one thing. If your camping does not include exploring the nature, forget about it. It's not camping after all. That's one thing. Huh? Number two, we'll make it fast. Okay. Of course, we have this watching the gentle, etc., etc. Okay, you know what to do. The appearance of the colorful rainbow. You can better appreciate rainbow if you're in the open. But if you are in the vicinity of a very highly urbanized place, maybe you cannot make notice of it. Spending the night, this one, okay? This is the one I told you a while ago. I'm happy that I've experienced bivouac. Bivouac is you sleep out in the open without tent, just your sleeping bag. And then all of you will will study and point and draw, okay, in your mind, so that after the activity you can draw the arrangement of the star. And you see, oh, there is no end to the things that can be discovered in the nature. Wow. Number two, improve health, because nature gives healing. Mentally, mental health issues, if you're depressed, and nature can help you. That's why, if you notice, every reunion or every activity, when we speak of retreat, we usually go to a place where there is silence and nature, and mhm, because because that's a gift from God. The physical demands of camping clearly count as exercise that will improve, of course, our health. Okay. What else? What else? Um, during camping, Pathfinder spent a lot of time performing physical activities, which helps burn more calories than when sitting in the class. Okay. Being outdoors means a lot of sunshine. So, vitamin D, beneficial to the body. And camping helps to bring about a good night's sleep at Pathfinders. So when after we hear the whistle for curfew, everybody will snore. Okay. Sleeping under the stars helps Pathfinders get in touch with their natural circadian rhythm. Okay, so we will just skip this one. Anyway, all of these things are part of it's there in our BSTC. The body functions. Okay, and oh, I like this, huh? One of the purposes of doing camping is digital detox. Digital detox. Sometimes I asked, can we really survive if we have a pure 100% digital detox every time we have Campuri? Do you think no one will complain? Because, gadgets, your cell phone is now part of, um, well, that's remains a challenge, okay? So no Wi-Fi, it's a free zone. Camping grounds often do not have phone or Wi-Fi signals, which allows healthy break from technology addiction. Okay, the Roblox, you can forget the Roblox and all of these games. Okay, wow, very nice. Camping means leaving distractions behind. It is just them, but also the forest, the fellow pathfinders. You will run activities and fun and memories. Okay. And then what else? An occasion for adventure. If there's an opportunity for you to do so, okay. Of course, it depends with the age bracket. Of course, you cannot do that if you're in the midst of the jungle and you're bringing with you your the adventures. But for maybe MITs and maybe um, like 16, 15, maybe you can do that. Huh? More than any other reason, people come to have an adventure in the nature. Again, I would like to re-emphasize this. No two campouts are ever the same, as each will bring with it a different set of adventures. Every camp is unique of its own. So if the venue provides for you some alternative, another option for kinds of activity, water sports, and etc., if there's a nearby lake or river, or you can also adjust and adapt. Okay. And yes, you know what? I plan for this, at least for rappelling. If we cannot have the rock climbing, at least for rappelling, I will endorse this to the youth ministers department so that our pathfinders can also experience the basic rappelling. Okay. Strengthen relationships. Yes, it's one of the purposes as well. Away from all the distractions of home and school, camping helps to revitalize relationship. Then face-to-face conversation replace impersonal chats through devices. Yes, because you don't have the opportunity to interact personally. I am. And then what else? 6, develop life skills. Develop life skills. We will teach our children the basicality of life, the basics of life, building fire, arranging clothes and everything, making our tent so neat and clean, and then cooperation, wash the dishes, resiliency, improvise, a lot of skills development for your people. Mhm. Number 7, a chance to experience God. Nature offers pathfinders a sense of tranquility, which enables them to sense God's presence more accurately. It's not accurately, accurately. Amen. Away from the influence of distractions of, our competition, media, technology, and gadgets. Okay, so nature is a huge classroom with many spiritual lessons. Then we will I will just skip this one. Okay. Anyway, we still have part two of this, and I will go to this last presentation. Okay. Camping and outdoor education. So for our part two, we will start with this slide, camping and outdoor education, and the leave no trace principle, because it's already time. All right. I hope you learn something tonight. And again, thank you for your time.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Pastor, for a detailed presentation. I believe our next camping will be much, much better than the way we've been handling them, because now we're a little bit knowledgeable on what to look for and how to make them exciting also. Thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of our presentation for tonight. Your questions, I'm looking at the time, you're already on 9:31. I would propose that we keep our questions, and unless you've got only one pressing question, I'll open up only for one pressing question. Is there anyone with a pressing question? Otherwise, we will handle questions on our next session, which is on Sunday, when we do the second session for camping and outdoor studies.
There is one question in the chat, Master Gaji.
On the chat. Okay, let me have a look. What is
Yeah, there's a question here. I will read. In field guide manual, there are 6 components of the basic camping, 6W: woods, water, willingness, wild things, wine, weather. So my question is, what was mentioned in the presentation can be summarized like this. Yes, we will come to that because we don't come yet to the part two. I can still remember the S. Okay, the S. We will come to that hopefully next presentation.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. Just a reminder that tomorrow we are not having any meeting, and